The At Home Show.
At ease, men. You all know why you're here today. The enemy is everywhere, hidden underground, and the damage they're wrecking is indescribable. Yards chewed down to the dirt. No relief in sight. Much of our defenses are already sold out just about everywhere. But we got a new plan, and we got some help coming in. Our generals, Cary and Bates, they've brought in a specialist. Goes by the name of Sullivan. You're gonna hear from him soon. Until then, keep them army worms at bay at all costs. No mercy. Dismissed. Live from the Green Room Studios, from the spacious property of Bates Nursery and Garden Center, 3810 Whites Creek Pike, it's the At Home Show with Josh Cary and David Bates.
Hey, troops! Close order drill be coming up here any minute. Tell you what, folks, it's Saturday morning. It means it's time for the At Home Show. I am Josh Cary.
And I am David Bates.
The entire crew is here, and we'll introduce them as we go along here. But we've got an action-packed show this morning. Fun, frivolity, information. You know, you might even learn something this morning.
Well, it could happen. You know, sometimes it's inadvertent, but why don't we just roll right into it, Josh? And
roll, David, roll.
And today, of course, is Saturday, the 4th of September. My brother Mark's birthday. Happy birthday, Mark. 64 years old today. So there you go, Mark. Hope you're doing well today. 86 degrees for the high today with partly cloudy conditions. The clouds will increase as we go through the afternoon because tomorrow there will be some showers and generally cloudy conditions. 79 degrees for the high temperature. That is pretty sweet. As we go into Monday and through the rest of next week, we're going to have mostly sunny conditions. And notice the cooling temperatures: 85 Monday, 87 Tuesday, 82 Wednesday, 81 Thursday, and Friday. And low temperatures, all but one of those days in the upper 50s. So as you can tell, we're making the turn decidedly towards the fall season, and so people are thinking about all of that. Currently it's 66 degrees here in the Music City, and just want to take a quick moment, Josh, before we have our very special guests on board here to just mention the fact that we really dodged a major storm event here last weekend. Others, unfortunately, both in Louisiana, southern Mississippi, Alabama, and in the Northeast, got tremendous flooding conditions and massive devastation as a result of Ida and the remnants thereof later on in the week. So certainly all those folks are in our thoughts. I hope everyone is able to recover. I spoke with my good friend Dave Williams up at Williams Nursery in Westfield, New Jersey. And he indicated that they got almost a foot of rain.
Wow.
So very bad conditions. They got mud to deal with, but no structural damage. So hopefully folks are on the way to recovery from all of that. So just be weather aware as always. But right now, the weather for the foreseeable future looks really good here in Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, it sure does. And did you see the footage of the New York City subway system?
Yes.
That was incredible. So it probably needed to get washed out a little bit anyway, but
well,
that might have been a bit much.
Yeah, just all at once,
Yeah.
I think it was a little more than needed, possibly.
Now, David, without further ado, I think it's time. We haven't heard this song in a bit, but
yes.
Michael, go crazy.
One for each other and all
brave amigos are we. Brother to brother and everyone, a brave amigo. Wherever they need us, our destinies lead us. Amigos, we're always together.
Get ready, David. Here it comes.
Wherever we go with three brave amigos, and we'll be amigos forever.
Deep breath, David. Get it in. Come on.
We are the three amigos. We are the three amigos. We are the three amigos.
Hold it.
Amigos and amigos forever will
Big finish now.
Yep. Now, David, you're blocked by the monitors in studio, but the look on Caroline's face, it was priceless.
I don't know that she's ever heard that before.
Oh my goodness gracious, Tyler! We have a special guest coming to the airwaves here, and of course that music. You know who it is? It's Drew Sullivan himself, the Prince of Potions. How are you, brother?
I'm great. How refreshing to hear that song. What a way to start the day.
It's all downhill from here.
Oh yeah, all together and all for one.
Yep. Now, Drew, we contacted each other this week, and it's because there is a pest that is infesting the entire landscape around, and it's quite a big problem in certain areas, and it is the army worms. Have you?
Right.
What are we gonna do, man?
Well, we can treat to try to eradicate those little suckers, or we can sit back and let them finish their life cycle and fly away. But
hey, Drew, once you've just a moment, kind of give people a little backstory on what armyworms are all about, and because some people have not been affected at all. Mm-hmm. It only kind of affects certain folks, certain people's yards, I should say. And why have we not seen these be so problematic previously?
It just, there probably a few around every year, but it seems like a cycle of every 5 to 6 years we get a heavy infestation like we've got this year. The moth will fly in, come in wind currents, and lay her eggs and hatch these little boogers. I remember it's probably been 6 or 7 years ago. We had a infestation, not quite as bad as I think this one has been, but it was more tend to be down towards the Williamson County, Maury County area. We sold quite a bit of insecticide that year, and then this year we started getting the first calls up in Rutherford County around the Stones River Country Club, that little section of town there. And
wow.
That's been probably 5 to 6 weeks ago, I would say. And it's just kind of spread over the time. It'll be 2 weeks ago this coming Monday. It seemed like when the Nashville area the phone just started blowing up on what's going on. But they're quite destructive.
Now, what specifically, Drew, do they seem to feed on? Who are the people who are really having issues with it?
Lush turf grass vegetation. If you've got a good lawn of a fescue, Bermuda grass, they like lush, tender growth. And I've heard stories, I've seen, I could have kept enough pictures to have a 2021 scrapbook, armyworm scrapbook, folks sending me pictures, and I love that.
Mm-hmm.
But they will literally, if you've got you a nice lawn and live next to someone who doesn't do much with theirs, they'll stop at the property line. They're not going to eat junk. They like the $50 a plate buffet.
Well, and I had read somewhere, and there's a lot of information flying around, is that they really prefer the Bermuda and the Bermuda type grasses. Is that?
And well, I'll say this: in that the issue we had with them 5-6 years ago, that seemed to be how it was. I don't remember them being much of an issue in fescue then, but this year,
don't you think, Drew? Don't you think that's because people are more likely to really have juiced up Bermuda grass lawns at this time of year than fescue? I mean, they really shouldn't be pushing the fescue unless they're using organics this time of year. But Bermuda grass is a different story. It could be blasting the nitrogen to it and really pushing that growth.
Right. Just probably depends on how much moisture's in the ground and whatnot. But yeah, I think you're exactly right on that that idea.
So are golf courses getting hit pretty hard then too? You're talking about lush lawns.
You don't hear a lot about that. You don't hear a lot about them on golf courses. Heard a little bit up in East Tennessee, but and it could be that those guys. What we hear about is folks that don't know what's going on,
right?
And they need to know how to treat it. The golf course superintendent and his assistants they probably see them, or they might even do a protective insecticide just to, not worry about it. Just as kind of an insurance plan there.
Well, now you mentioned that north side of Murfreesboro. I don't know that I've seen them in Smyrna yet, and that's not that far from where you're talking.
Yeah, and they may not be. You may not see a one. I haven't seen one around where I live, but it's sure. It's been something else. They've hit up around the Mount Juliet area. Seem to be heavier Rutherford Wilson than they are. Well, I shouldn't say that because Davidson has been hit pretty hard.
Well, and again, if some of the sites that I've been watching on social media, they out west way out west in town, Memphis and some of the other areas. Yeah. But it's just spotty. But I read also that each one of these little rascals that turns into the moth can lay 2,000 eggs.
Wow, there you go.
So we need to get them in the juvenile stage, right?
That's a lot of pupa. Yes, it sure is. Sure is.
Drew, people who determine that they have this issue, what are they to do about it? What do they treat with?
Well, a good insecticide. Here again, my rap. Read the label. Make sure it says that it will handle armyworms. Bifenthrin, our go-to insecticide, they're on the label. They won't sell the most of. Permethrin, they're on the 7. The old insecticide 7. What you have to do is make sure you get it down in that thatch. They're eating the crown of the plant. That's what they're going for. They're going to eat that crown. That plant's not going to come back. But what you need to do is mix a surfactant to carry that insecticide down through that thatch level to where you'll make sure and get it where the armyworm actually is. So, you can use granular insecticides also, and here again, the bifenthrin, the 7 or whatnot. But you want to make sure to water that down through that thatch. Once you've watered it in, you want to kind of back off the water in a couple of days to where that insecticide won't get weakened down. Right.
Now, of course, all these products are available at your local Dickens Supply store, I'm sure.
Well, we've tried.
Okay.
We have tried. I think, as far as I know right now, everyone should have some product to sell. But I tell you, it's been a crazy couple of weeks.
Well, Drew, the systemic nature of these, how many mowings could you go through and still expect to have a reasonable amount of control still available? Is it going to last for a month, or is it going to last just a couple of mowings?
Yeah, the your 7 and your permethrin and your like there's an organic conserve. Those don't really have any systemic attributes to them. They're going to be a contact and get what they hit there. Your bifenthrin is not a true systemic. It just has a pretty long residual where it's just going to take it a while to wash away or go away. It'll stay on the plant a little bit longer, the tissue of the plant. You'll probably get about 14 days out of it. But normally, if you see them, if you scout and you see those worms and you put down an insecticide, you're going to get them. It's not a process of where they're going to continue to hatch in the same area. They're probably all going to appear in the first couple of days when they're coming out of the ground.
And it's a little bitty caterpillar too. I mean, it's a small,
not real big. Yeah.
So
you really have to look to get them.
And within a couple of weeks, they should have run
thing.
their cycle, right?
Right. You need to make sure that you've got your rate correctly, and if you're doing a granular, you got to know that square footage, because if you don't get enough, you're not going to kill these things. And we've heard of that, of people just not having enough insecticide to go down. You need to make sure you know exactly what you're doing, which is always the case with using pesticides.
So you don't mix and match. And is there a hose end variety of some of this stuff out there?
You could do it that way. You could do it that way. Here again, I would buy a pre-mix, or you could do a hose end. Just make sure you got that rate correctly. So, that's what you need to do. But yeah, you could do a hose end application.
That's the mathematics of the amount of the chemical that you're doing versus the square footage. So again,
right.
Reading the label and working with the pros are going to be the way that you're going to want to go.
Right. But
hey, Drew,
I really think we're kind of at the end with them.
Let me kind of shift gears on you here for a moment, and hopefully, like you just mentioned, we're getting to the end of the cycle on those, so this problem will quickly go away. But that's coming up next is the fall seeding season, and a lot of people are very anxious about that. But grass seed is
flying off the shelf.
Don't laugh, Drew.
It's scarce and it's expensive, so people just need to be prepared that it's if you've been used to paying one price, you can probably add 50% or more to the cost of it for this year.
Yeah, and being able to get it. And I'm not trying to get people to run out and go make a purchase today, but we truly at Victor's Turf Landscape Supply don't know how much supply we're going to have. We're in good shape right now, but it was a harvest out west that was less than 50% of normal, on top of some major market swings on the past year that a lot of inventory got taken out. Just different acquisitions and all that went on. I've never seen this in my career, and I'm a pretty old guy.
Yeah, I can feel you.
Never seen this in their career. There was a picture right there, riding high, celebrating. There we go.
That's Uncle Ned's favorite picture of Drew.
There you go.
Huh?
And I tell you something else. I throw a little plug in there at Dickens. If you've got a real nice turf, what we've done this year, just thinking how people might, come in and hear the price and go, oh my goodness, I'm not going to pay that for grass seed. We put together a real good pre-emerge with a good fertilizer on it, a good slow release. We've got some minor nutrients in it, just a high quality product where you could go on and do a pre-emerge this fall in your fescue. And, if you've had a little issues with like some annual bluegrass or Poetry-Vialis, rough salt bluegrass, things like that, you can really cut down on that germination by pre-emerging this time of year. You don't usually get to do that when you're overseeding. You don't get to do that when you're overseeding because your fescue won't germinate. But if you've got a good, nice turf and want to choose not to, just a light aeration and then an application of a real good quality pre-emerge will get you that fertilization on your existing turf and then help you on that weed control of those winter weeds and some problem issues like that rough stalk bluegrass or annual bluegrass.
Well, and we've had a comment from Joan Dotson. She says she's got a battalion of varmints in Rutherford County, and so I mean that battalion strength that's pretty tough. So
pretty tough, yeah.
Hey, Drew, I want to mention one thing that's really important today. I know you know him well. My brother Mark. It's his 64th birthday today. So
yeah, I heard you say that, and that made me smile. That's awesome. Man, that's great.
He told me about the only time that he ever made you mad was when he blew a head of a beer off in your face one time, and then y'all were at an event that got where a water hose got connected and everybody got soaked. And
man, he brought out the memory book there. That's been a minute ago.
Yeah, it has. We won't even talk about all the other assorted details, but yeah,
On the air
that's
anyway.
in the Wayback Machine.
All right.
That was a fun day.
Drew had one other question the fella asked he's in Smyrna, and he has a beautiful Bermuda lawn, and he had some brown patch. Is that unusual for a Bermuda lawn?
Yeah, I don't think it was probably brown patch. I don't know if he gave the time of year that he had that. There's some spring dead spot that can come in there. That it's a disease pretty common to Bermuda, and he would need the fungicide this fall to keep that from happening next year. But I don't know that brown patch in Bermuda. He might look down in there for some worms if it's right now.
Okie doke.
Yeah, I say that sounds a lot more likely, doesn't it? Maybe just a small patch of those that maybe created the illusion that it could be quote brown patch.
Okie doke.
Right.
Oh.
Right.
Well, Drew, can you hang with us some more, or do you want to?
Well, I tell you what, I've got some babysitting duties this morning. I mean, love chatting with you guys. We'll do it again, but I've got to make a trip across the county.
Oh, well, I understand. And there are certain things in this life that are more important than the at-home show, and that's grandbabies. I can tell you that.
Well,
Right there. Come on.
the Prince of Potions himself, Drew, we really appreciate you coming on this morning and sharing your almost infinite amount of wisdom that you have with regard to the lawn and the landscape. So thanks for coming on as always, and we look forward to having you on again soon.
Good to talk, guys. Take it easy. Bye.
All right, dismissed. All righty.
I can vouch for what he was saying about the grass seed stuff. The company that I work for, there is a fairly large shortage, and we're trying to work through that. But it's selling like crazy. Yard Boy actually got in touch with me last week and was asking me about that, and I'm like, if you can find it, I'd get it.
Huh?
So
If he can get, you wouldn't sell him any grass. What?
he got enough of it. He just needs to pick up the clippings. And
And I think the point that Drew made was a really good one, that this may be the year when folks opt to simply work on the existing turf they have with fertilizer and pre-emergent, and not elect to spend the money on seed that's already in very scarce supply, and certainly is going to be quite a lot more expensive than last year. So that might be an option for a lot of folks who are just not wanting to put that much money into it. You know, a bag of seed that we were selling for about $100 last year is going to be well above 150 now. So
well, if you do invest in it, we're going to want to go through the entire process of aeration, do all your prep, do it the right way, and just don't go out there and broadcast it right on the ground. David, you've always talked about you wouldn't plant tomato seeds or peppers right in the driveway. So
exactly.
Well, aerate if you need it. If your soil's pretty good still and not super compacted, and
to aerate is human.
Aerate is needed, not if you need it. That's the way I come down on it. So, unless you just don't have unless you've got money to burn, where you just broadcast the seeds out there and just.
I think everybody ought to have a plug aerator in the arsenal if they could.
Well, a core type aerator is one of those things that most people are not going to have, but they are rentable. So
you go rent one.
It's one of you really ought to get out there and rent one and do a good job on it. Hey, have we got the bait spot queued up here? Because we're going to segue from that into we'll talk a little bit about that coming out of the spot. We got some special things going on today only. So today only, this is it.
Okay.
So summer's ending. Why don't we hear a little bit about Bates, Michael?
It's never too early to get a leg up on what you'll need at Bates Nursery and Garden Center. Whether it's
on Tyler.
It's never too early to get a leg up on what you'll need.
What? Rewind. Yep.
All right, hold on 1 second. I don't know why the audio is not pointing out of the computer.
It's beautiful.
Spin that arrow the other way.
Hold on, I'm going to try. Oh, I heard something.
I heard a click.
Flip.
Okay.
All right.
It's never too early to get a leg up on what you'll need at Bates Nursery and Garden Center. Whether it's trees or shrubs, flowers or ornamentals, David Bates and his team have exactly what you're looking for, and they have exactly what you need to ensure it thrives too. And today only, if you're a Bates Rewards member, you can get 20% off all plants and all bagged Earth Mix products. Stop in and see us today. We're located 1 mile north of Briley Parkway off Whites Creek Pike and minutes from downtown Nashville. Bates Nursery and Garden Center, beautifying Nashville since 1932.
Wow.
All right. Thank you, guys. And that is true. Today is the only day. You got to come out today if you're a Bates Rewards member and you know who you are. You've got it out in the newsletter that I sent out this week, and we always appreciate all the kind remarks and the interaction, the opportunity to have interaction with folks who subscribe to the newsletter. And it's true, 20% off all plants and all bagged Earth Mix products. This is the end of summer, the last blowout before fall. So today is your day. Do not delay. Come on in and see us. And all of our landscape professionals, Austin, Cary, Adam, Ben, Shannon, and others are all here to help you to get the right plants in the right place the first time. Because we've, as you see on the little graphic here on the board, this is a shot inside our newly renovated greenhouse area at the Garden Center. We've been all summer long working on that.
Wow.
And
that lumber is amazing.
I think we're all very proud of it. It's taken a lot of effort. Austin certainly has put no small amount of work into it, just getting the plastic all on and getting it in good shape. It takes quite a lot of effort. So thanks to everybody, and Caroline, and with the help of Austin and others, has gotten it repopulated with all the tropical and foliage plants and cacti and succulents, everything you're looking for. So make sure you check that out when you come out to see us today at Bates Nursery and Gardens. And by the way, we're open from 9 until 4 o'clock today.
4.
We will be closed for Labor Day, so we won't be open on Monday. Also, Monday is the last of the Best of Nashville voting, so we would want to ask that you consider giving us a vote for Best of Nashville Nursery and Garden Center. Also, in the Best Blog of Nashville, we would really appreciate that as well. We're thankful to have the many subscribers that we have and the people that read our newsletter to the extent they do. So thank you for that. So if you want to do that, that voting ends on Monday. So, and that's the day we will be closed, which of course is Labor Day.
So there's no reason for them not to vote. You're not having to go to work. A whole lot of people aren't. So, I mean, I imagine most everybody's going to be off, but just take some time and go out there and cast your vote. It takes mere seconds and minutes.
You do have to vote in 20 categories for your vote to count, but there's all manner of businesses that we all deal with, and you take a moment to recognize them all. So certainly do that. A lot of great things going on with regard to that. And by the way, not tomorrow, but the next Sunday is our first Sunday to be open. So we'll be back open 7 days a week starting next week.
So 20% off all plants.
That's today only.
Today
so come
only.
In today,
And
do not delay. It will not be
not tomorrow.
Next week.
Okay. And 20% off all bagged Earth Mix products?
All bagged, or not bulk, bagged. But it doesn't matter which one you're talking about. Garden, landscape, supernatural. You could be going for Viagra. You could go magic mushroom compost. Any of the mulches, pine fines, natural hardwood.
So that's pretty much the same thing as 5 buy 5 get 1 free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could look at it that way.
That's the way I look at it. Buy 5 get 1 free.
On. Well, it's just one of the reasons why we encourage you to, become a Bates Rewards member. Obviously, there's no costs associated with it. It takes you about 30 seconds to sign up at the checkout. And if you're not a Bates Rewards member right now and you happen to be listening, come on out, sign up today, and you still get the benefit of it. So
got to do it today. One day only.
Do it today because we won't be open tomorrow or Monday, and Tuesday it's over. So today is the last day. Come see us. Bates Nursery and Garden Center, beautifying Nashville since 1932. But thank you for giving us a moment to talk about that. And let's give somebody else a moment here. How about a plant rant?
Sometimes she just needs to vent a little. It's Plant Rants with Cary Gant.
Good morning. It's been so quiet on this end, so it's nice to get some words in today. And boy, do I have a lot to say.
Okay.
I bet you were just fidgeting down there.
Yes,
going,
I was.
When
You
do
should
I get camera
do the
time?
face that you did while David was singing on Three Amigos.
Well, I actually choked on my coffee, but I think it's because I got so excited about hearing that song. You know, I took too much in. But today I did make a special little video. We've got a walkthrough tour of the new garden center. We started moving everything, I believe, Austin, it was Tuesday. So between Tuesday and Friday, we were able to move in all the plants, all the shelves, and then get all the pottery back up a hill.
Oh no! The ship is going down. Sorry.
What the heck just happened?
Oh my God.
There was that.
That's a commanding voice.
That was exciting, Tyler.
Oh,
Wow.
you know,
And I feel like with that,
I'm just
with
preparing
that
some
said,
content
maybe
over
it's
here.
time to just roll that video.
that's right.
Here we go.
Here it goes.
And you're going to talk over the top
We
of it here.
are
So
going
tell
to
us
talk.
what we're
We can
seeing.
all
Get me out of the
talk
way.
over the top of it. So look at that roof. Look at that plastic that Austin did up there, stretched so tight. All that nice lumber. I mean, everyone can talk when we
Lumber's
look at
beautiful.
it.
And one of the things I really like the best is that he came up with a way to where we can greatly increase and spread out our hanging basket. We will easily be able to handle many hundreds of hanging baskets, which is particularly important during the springtime season.
Uh-oh. Oh, there we go.
I just paused it.
It just wanted to look at the sands. Look at it. The Sansevieria just so pretty. But yeah, hanging baskets, we have a ton in there and we're going to fit so many more. There's a Peruvian apple cactus. And I've never been able to bring any big ones in. So you can see like the large cacti that we do have up in the garden center that
5
we
feet
cannot
tall.
fit. Yes, 5 feet tall. Can't fit in this green room. And I know we had somebody request a plant tour, indoor plant tour. So we
What's
finally
that one
got it
right in
done.
front right now? That was
It was a pencil cactus.
pencil.
Yeah,
cactus.
they're cool. I have one that has probably reached about 8 feet tall. I've had to keep topping it because it, is too high for coming into my house. And we've got a little glimpse of our pottery, which we're still kind of getting placed back in the back. But with this new plastic on, they took off that wall. Like the lighting coming through is also really nice, as you can see. As I take
And what
my
is
stroll
also
around.
great, Cary, is the fact that that used to be a flat roof just above where those pipes are. So now it goes up much higher. It will enable us to be able to display and carry plants that are much taller. And it just really makes the space feel much larger. And as you mentioned, lighting is far superior.
Yeah, we were able to get some. I wonder how much higher the ceiling is. It's got to be
6 feet
Oh,
for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really bad with height. So I was going to take a guess. I was
Just
going to
don't
say
look
5.
down.
Yeah. So we're able to fit some fiddle leaf figs in right now that we've never been able to have that height before.
Well, that represents that shot right there. Kind of represents what the other room used to
Yeah,
look
so
like.
that's where the pottery was. Or sorry, the houseplants were where that pottery shot was. And then there's the outside.
Love the details.
There's Austin moving some pottery. Had to get him in the video, But I'm loving it. It is gorgeous.
Austin's a man of many talents. He's able to do whatever you ask him to do. He seems to be able to be very adept at it. We're going to have him on here actually talking in a minute.
Yeah, he can do anything. I mean, he does everything at the nursery. Plastic, plants, moving plants.
Moving
It's
pots.
wild. Moving pots.
Spitting facts.
Spitting facts. That's right. So many great things. But I just wanted to give a tour of the new garden center. Like I said, I love it. It's so nice to be back. It's so open. It's just amazing and very exciting. And I did bring a few plants that you probably saw in that walkthrough. Yeah, that
the camera goes
Sansevieria
crazy.
right there. We're just getting wild on this end today. We're in party mode. I'm loving it. But hopefully you guys enjoyed that tour. I'm going to spend all day in there today, and I'm really excited about it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. I'm going to take a walk over there after the show and take a look and see how.
You'll want to live in there. We've set up little islands. It's really easy to walk through. We were actually watching customers move through it the other day, and we opened some aisles so, you can get in and out a lot easier.
Now, I haven't even thought about asking this. Dr. Vanessa is still going to be in, is that right?
She is. She will be in at 9 a.m. this morning.
And she'll be on until how long in the day?
She stays on until closing. So she'll be on until about 4 o'clock.
Now, what that is,
and really what that is that Vanessa, who physically used to work for us here at Bates Nursery, has now moved away to Indianapolis, but via the wonder of telecommunications, you can speak to her directly through a computer we have set up in the garden center, and the doctor will definitely be in. If you've got plant issues or whatever, bring those questions in, and maybe you need to describe that to her. She'll give you as much time as you need to work through whatever issues you've got going on with your plants. That includes you, Josh.
Me too?
But you got to stick. Yeah.
Wow.
So,
You're included.
Okay. Well, it's nice to be wanted once in a while.
Or included.
Yeah, included.
Yeah, at least included.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know wanted, but definitely
Occluded,
included.
maybe.
Occluded.
Occluded.
Okay. Well, Cary, thank you so much for that. And
Yes.
you want to talk before we go further? Let's get Austin in here. I feel like he's just sitting over there drinking coffee. That's probably
He
what
is
he's doing.
just chilling.
I want to be included.
There he is.
Well, I mean, he's here. We need to have the guy
He is
come
here.
on
And he was a big part in the design. Like he and I really designed where all the plants went, where all the tables went. So yeah, he was half of designing those house plants and getting them all in there.
Well, and Austin, there's I think it'd be hard for most people to understand just how many details there are in trying to get a project like this completed because you personally did and had hands on the installation of the plastic film that goes both inside and outside the building, and that's a difficult thing, is it not?
Yes. It is. It's difficult. I mean, I enjoy it to an extent, and it's hard work. Don't get me wrong, but it makes you feel good when you're done with it. I've always been like that. I like to start something and finish it, and we've been doing a lot of work, but it feels good, to go in the greenhouse now, like with Cary's help. Really, I say her help. She was lead designer on it when it came to where the tables are going to go, how they're going to be arranged. What we wanted to do with our greenhouse was not make it look like it was
a greenhouse.
Or also a box store that you go to. We wanted to make it fun to walk through and to find plants that are in different spots, not just every single plant or tree that we have in the same location on a table or something. We wanted to kind of mix stuff in, and you can walk around the store and get lucky and like, oh, there's the plant that's like in that corner. I didn't see it before. Now I do. Like, I think that people will spend more time in the greenhouse now looking around to find those finds, the ones that sneak up on you. So I had an excellent time, doing that, and get to whenever you start with an empty greenhouse, completely blank slate, no tables, no nothing, and then to come up with something like this in literally 2 days, we were able to finish it. It's rewarding, and I'm happy about it. I think that our customers are going to enjoy it as well. So,
well, and everybody should be proud of their efforts because it really it came out as well as I had hoped for, and but my expectations were high because I know the abilities of great folks like Cary and Austin that they have to be able to really put the finishing touches on a project like this and get it finished. And also, and I think to your point, Austin, is not just lining up all the same kind of plants together, kind of arranging them in such a way that you can visualize the use in your particular situation inside your home or in your office.
Yeah, exactly. So, pairing things together, big, small, tall, trailing trees,
highlight,
mixing,
low light,
exactly,
all kinds of things.
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun, and I appreciate you, David, and I know you have extremely high expectations, but at the same time, you give us free rein to use our talents and what we know we can do without interfering or telling us how to do it. You trust that we can and do it well, so. That's really nice
because if he doesn't like it, he's going to make you change it anyway.
That's right. But how can you not like that?
Right. It's gorgeous.
I'm blessed beyond measure to have a staff of individuals who really enjoy what they do, but take what we do seriously. And whether we're doing renovations, which we seem to do all summer long, every summer, that's the downside to being in business for almost 90 years now, is that the facilities get old, so we're constantly working on renovation. And if you come out, you'll see that there's signs of that everywhere. We've redone 2 big storage buildings over the summer months. We've redone the garden center. We're adding on another 4 sections to the lower greenhouse area, where we have formerly referred to that as the flat top greenhouse, but it's not flat topped anymore. We're putting a similar kind of structure on those areas as we have here. So all that means is that we're going to be able to better display and keep things in a really good condition, and hopefully create a more pleasant and enjoyable shopping experience.
Well, at the end of the day, when you get used to where this is supposed to be, mixing it up is going to make it better almost every single time. Because just because you've done it that way all along, doesn't mean that you have to continue to do it.
I call that the Costco effect. And anybody who shops at Costco knows that
you're going to start selling chicken salad.
Every time you go in there, something's in a different spot. Now, we don't do things quite that much, but it does help you to be able to see things. If things are always where you expect to see them, then it's somehow you're able to not look at them carefully. And Cary certainly does a wonderful job on keeping things moved around. She personally handles almost every single container, decorative container that we have on hand. So anyway, thanks to all for that. We're really glad to be at this stage of the game. And this is a really long form version of look at what we've done. but I will tell you this: we all are quite proud of it, and also relieved, because it's it's taken no small effort, and it's time now for kind of move along and get back into the flow of the
selling some stuff.
Season.
Yes.
Well, I mean, we got to pay for these things, and for to be sure, big projects are expensive, but we want to hopefully keep ahead of the deterioration curve of our facilities, and that really takes a lot of effort. And summertime is when it works best. So we appreciate all who've come out through the summer months and convenience of the all the construction we've had. And so we hope when you come out today, you'll be pleasantly surprised and pleased at how things have dramatically improved.
Yep. All righty. Now, Cary, do we have any questions from Instagram this week?
We do. We actually are going to start today with 2 that came in last week during the broadcast. So Amy Coleman actually asked 2 questions. The first one is, what's the best thing to use to keep bugs off my veggies?
Go for it, Austin.
Yeah, take it away.
Well, that's pretty broad, but I get it. Now, first thing we need to figure out is if you want to be an organic vegetable producer, or if you're okay with spraying some synthetics. I recommend being organic as much as you can. Now, the best way to be organic is to scout, and to scout regularly. What I mean by that is to literally look at your plants individually. If you can stop bugs from happening early, you get a much better grip on them later. Once numbers start to get high in those populations, then you start to see an outbreak. Once you see that, it's much harder to deal with your pests. So I'm not going to say every day go out in your veggie garden and look at it, but if you could, it's the best way to do it. Look for eggs on back sides of leaves, and look for population numbers that are starting to get a little high. Now, if you have little infestations, if you will, I guess that's not, if it's an infestation, it's not little, but if you have just a few bugs, you can spot spray, target spray with organics that are pretty effective. Oils and soaps, horticultural soaps, that you can use to target that insect. Do know with both of those products, you're not killing any bug unless you actually target the bug. So you've got to make good contact with those organic products, or it's simply not effective. Now, if numbers start to get a little high and you're worried about it and it's starting to actually affect your crop, then we need to think about maybe going a different route and using some synthetic insecticides that'll take care of those numbers a little bit quicker. We sell a number of those here, and a lot of people do. So a lot of, like we were talking about earlier on the show, reading that product label is crucial. Make sure you mix it properly. Just because, if you mix it heavy, and it's not doing anything extra by mixing your chemicals heavy, all you're doing is wasting your money. So mix it the way you should.
You don't want to have the 7 dust look like snow on the tomato plants,
No.
right?
It doesn't have to be that dramatic. No, carbaryl is the active ingredient in 7, and it's a very effective chemical. It's been around for a very long time for a reason. It works, but it does make your plants look, dusty with white stuff all over.
But it doesn't need to look like a mound of snow on top of
negative,
it.
and doesn't need to be piled up below the plant or anything. Just a light dusting will take care of most insects.
Now, to your point, Austin, with regard to taking the time to really look, and it does involve, like you mentioned, turning over the leaves, and some, depending on what you've got, if you've got squash or things that have very large leaves, if you don't take the time either to bend down or kind of roll that leaf over, you can't make a determination of what you need to do. And additionally, when you have large leaves in particular, if you are spraying, even if you're using neem oil or insecticidal soap, which are both organic products, you've got to be able to get that mist underneath the foliage and be able to carry that up and make contact so that you
spray it on the bug, not on the dog, right?
Right. You're trying to get that up and underneath there. So much of the spraying is just wasted if you're only spraying from above. You really got to turn that nozzle where it's pointing up and have it the atomizing at the right amount so that you can get a right pattern. You don't want it to fog, but you don't want it to be a straight stream either. Kind of in between where you have a large droplet size that ensures that you get good coating and even coverage. The use of insecticidal soap and neem oil both are improved, as are other chemicals, when you use a spreader sticker with them. So that helps it to spread out and cover better. It also makes it stay on and not wash right off once it dries.
Yeah, our guest earlier on the phone talked about a surfactant, and that's just a fancy word for more or less sticky stuff that helps that chemical actually stay on the plant. So like you said, for sure, though, backsides, especially things like squash and zucchini when they're young, a lot of people have issues with squash bugs, and if you when they're young and they've got just a few leaves, you turn that leaf over, and then you can see a whole colony of eggs. They're brilliant yellow. They sit right atop, but they're on the back side of the leaf. You ever see that? Don't run out and get your sprayer or anything. Literally,
pull that leaf off.
Either pull the leaf off or just wipe those eggs clear. I mean, you're killing that or as organically as you can, and that's just by scouting. So get better with that. And then as you garden, as years go on, you learn to see signs of problems. You can see, like for me now, I see damage long before I ever have to see a pest. I can see damage on a plant and know what pest is on it based on that, and usually you can find it. So hornworms are that way. You see a big stem of your tomato plant that's got no leaves on it, but the stem is still up there. You can almost 100% guarantee if you start looking around, you're going to find a hornworm on your tomato plant. So looking for damage is crucial first, and then look for that bug, because it's harder to find the bugs than it is the damage.
Hey, before we move on to our next question here, let's take just a moment and talk about Earth Mix Garden products. And of course, we're if you want to really grow plants and grow them their very best, you don't want them just to survive. You want them to really thrive. And that's what you get when you use Earth Mix Garden products, where we like to say success begins at the ground level. Now, these are blended right here in Nashville in small batch, 100% organic, sustainably produced, and done so right here in Nashville. So, and they're sold all over the Middle Tennessee area. You don't have to use chemical fertilizers. As a matter of fact, these are blended with the thought in mind that you will not use them. You really are hoping to get plants at their very healthiest and keep them growing their very best, so they are more resilient against whatever pest you might have. So to find an EarthMix dealer nearest you, simply go to earthmix.net, and on the top right corner there, click on the Find EarthMix tab, and there you will see a map come up that will show all of the pins around the Middle Tennessee area, also in Kentucky, even up into Ohio and Indiana. So you can click on one of those, or you can simply put in your address in the address box here for turn-by-turn directions for the dealer nearest you, sold only at independent garden centers and other independent businesses. So just remember this, as we like to say, success in gardening begins at the ground level when you use Earth Mix garden products, and invite you to check out that entire fine line of products. And
it's a broad line of products. They're fine, but it's a broad line.
It's quite an extensive line of products, from indoor plants to outside gardening, to soil conditioners, to compost, earthworm castings, mushroom compost, and mulches. You have the complete line up of products that you could possibly want. So,
absolutely.
Now, Cary, I believe you've got other questions.
I do. I've got two more. So question number 2 also comes from the Amy Coleman. She asked, what do I do if I have powdery mildew all over my flowers in my garden?
Cry.
You do cry. That's what I do. But then what do you do after those tears dry up? Josh?
I would probably spray a fungicide.
Okay.
Yes, a fungicide spray is recommended. Now, the problem with powdery mildew is that it's so aesthetically displeasing. It's horrible to look at. It's like white, powder all over your plants. The problem with it, once it gets to that level, is that it's hard to control once it's gotten that bad. I don't know how bad it actually is all over your flowers. I'm not sure what we're talking about. But if it's really bad and all over your flowers, I don't know what flowers you're growing, but maybe it's time to rethink. Maybe let's get some pansies in there. We got pansies coming in. It's about pansy season, so maybe it's time to kind of refresh. Next season, though, I would recommend you preventatively spray with the fungicide to help combat that powdery mildew, because it's not like a detrimental fungus that like kills plants, but it makes them look horrible. And what's the point of that?
Is that a sign? A lot of times, is it spread by the watering habits of the owners of the plants?
Typically, yes, or even just rain, which we can't help. It's splashing little fungal spores that travel from plant to plant.
Should we hit the mulch or the soil around the plants?
It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to do that because
this is where what you talked about in the on the previous question is really important. Is paying attention, looking at your plants. If you wait until it's broadcasting this loud message that, oh my goodness, powdery mildew has taken over, then you've waited too late to really effectively control it. You're really, as you mentioned earlier, if you're going to use a preventive type thing and you want to stay organic, neem oil can be very effective, but it's only really effective preventatively. If you try to do it in a corrective fashion, and the conditions are already right for the spread of pathogens, you're going to have a hard time getting it back under control. You'll almost have to use a more strong chemical type of fungicide. So this is really where being aware of what's going on in your plants and doing close visual inspection makes the difference in catching a problem early or preventing it altogether.
Yep.
All right, sounds like we're ready for our last question of the day.
Oh, my.
So this one came in from Miriam Mims, and we actually talked about hackberries last week. We
Hi,
had
Miriam.
that question. She asked, how do I stop woolly aphid black soot short of cutting down the hackberry?
Well, the Prince of Potions, again, this is another place that you might want to take a trip over to the Dickens places, but he always seemed to recommend imidacloprid in a drench around the tree. But you're talking about spending some coins if you're going to do it properly, is what I remember, David.
It's very expensive, and the imidacloprid, what makes it good for this particular pest
bug,
and is that the woolly aphids get on there and they produce their bodily waste, which is referred to as honeydew.
Where does it come? Where's it come from?
It comes out of the woolly aphids. Anyway, so that's where it comes from, Josh.
Don't they call it frass?
I'll let your imagination fill the rest of the blanks in. Okay. Anyway, this honeydew, within it, this sooty black mold will grow. And so it's one of those rare instances where a fungus can be prevented by using an insecticide properly. Now,
as a systemic, though,
if you are correctively dealing with it, as Miriam's talking about right there, you really don't have much choice except to either use imidacloprid, it uses systemically, and it takes quite a lot for a large tree, or have a arborist come out with a spraying service and spray the entire tree with an insecticide, not a fungicide, to get rid of the woolly aphid. So if you were going to spray it most effectively to prevent it, the use of a dormant oil in the very early part of the spring is a really good way to go, because it coats all the stem surfaces and will greatly reduce the incidence of that.
It's hard to get to the top of that tree, though, David.
That's why you got to have a professional come out and do it, because they have the big high pressure systems. The imidacloprid is convenient in that a homeowner can certainly apply that, but it takes quite a lot. And when you start calculating, you can spend I would guess
hundreds
$50
of
to
dollars.
$75 per tree.
Yeah,
because it takes a lot to get enough in there for the tree to uptake that, so that you get sufficient control on the woolly aphids.
And you'd really want to have a professional do that probably anyway. I mean, a certified arborist would probably be better to do.
Not a bad idea. Particularly anything that you're not accustomed to dealing with. And we're talking about chemicals here. The arborist, I would say there's no profession that earns their money better than arborists do, because they do a lot of the things that would be really dangerous for most of us homeowners. When we talk about cutting a dead wood out of trees, or shaping them up, or if one had needed to be dropped, or the spraying for pests way up in them, they're well equipped to deal with those things. And they keep the safety factor going on, which unfortunately for a lot of
they have good
homeowners,
saw skills. They have they've been trained professionals. Good. Okay.
Yes, and they use them every day, so they're not rusty.
Rusty
skills, or the saws for that matter.
I understand. All righty, folks. It's we've got a lot to go here, but we've got a few more minutes to get some things in. Is there anything anybody's doing special for the Labor Day holiday? Michael, you got to go to birthday party, because you're like in the birthday party
next
season.
Saturday.
Oh, okay.
For my birthday.
Oh, is it your birthday next Saturday?
Yeah, I'm not doing anything.
You're not doing anything?
Might go eat dinner at my mom's house.
Really? What about Monday?
For Labor Day?
Yeah, Labor Day.
Sleeping.
Your birthday is not a holiday. Is it? It is
September
for
the
you.
11th.
Huh?
Pretty sure it's National Remembrance Day, Josh.
Okay, but it's not your holiday.
My holiday first.
Oh, okay. You were there first? Okay, I guess you were technically. I guess he was born before the.
No, we're gonna do some grilling out. Probably gonna work on the yard some. Get some stuff planted. That's about it.
You gonna get the neighbors to put some plants in?
He's not gonna do that. I actually talked to him the other day, and I mentioned you guys said that, and
no. I said it. I said it.
And he said that's the area that his dog runs in, so he doesn't care.
The dog might like the flowers. My dog likes flowers.
I don't think Chief cares about flowers. I think
Chief.
Yeah, that's the dog's name.
What kind of dog?
It's a pit bull.
Okay, Chief the pit bull.
Yeah, very friendly.
Oh, I love pit bulls. They're
Me
really
too.
There are bad people that do bad things to those dogs, and but most all pit bulls are just really sweetheart dogs. So
They are. I have one, and he's the best.
You have a black kitty too, don't you?
I do. His name is Goblin. And then a Feist. I have 2 dogs and a cat.
And those who remember back in the day when Bella used to be around the nursery. By the way, Bella is still alive and well, everyone.
Very good.
I think she's probably 16 years old. So for an old dog, she is pretty amazing. But she's beginning to show the signs of wear and tear that go with the aging process,
Really?
self included.
Really? Okay.
Hey, did the Titans play tomorrow?
No.
When's that all start?
Next weekend.
Okay. So that's when your misery begins?
Oh, yeah. Okay. We'll see. Yeah, I think they're going to be okay.
Michael, who's your football team? I'm just curious.
I don't really watch football, so.
Communist.
You just.
No, I watch
have
baseball, the
opinions
true
on it.
American sport.
Well,
What's that? No, my niece from Ireland, they're driving down to Ole Miss today. So, I guess I'll cheer for them, kind of.
Well, Rebels are not bad. Okay. That's not professional football. Well, technically.
I cheer for the Titans, I guess, because they're
Good.
close.
Huh?
When I was a kid, I was the Colts because that's where my grandmother lived.
She lived in Baltimore?
Indianapolis.
Hey, I want to remind everybody.
She lived in Baltimore, huh?
Come out and see us today. Today's the last day of our 20% off all plants and all bagged earth mix products.
Buy 5,
That
get
ends
1 free.
today.
Same thing. So that's ready to go.
That's not the way we do it at the register, but you
It
get the
works out to
idea.
be the same
Well,
math.
remember, we're closed on Monday on Labor Day, so come on out today, save big, and let's get ready for the fall season coming up.
Yep, everybody. If you're traveling, be safe. If you're going to be out partying, don't do stupid. So you can join us next
Please
Saturday
no.
morning. Don't do stupid. It's just not good. So you can be here next Saturday morning for the at-home show. It is a tradition, so you have to join us here. Share the word. Share the Facebook page. And subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go out to and find the podcast. It's out there too, wherever you get your podcast. LinkedIn.
Absolutely.
Hey, folks, if you got a product or a service you want to get featured, all you got to do is give us a shout, and we can get you in and get you on. All right,
Thanks again to Drew Sullivan for coming on today, Drew.
the Prince of Potions. Hey, folks, we'll see you next Saturday morning, and thanks from everybody here at the Green Room Studios. It's the At Home Show coming to you right here from Bates Nursery and Garden Center.